If your teen is constantly on TikTok, struggling with low motivation, anxiety, or confidence, you are not alone. Today, we're diving into what is really happening in your teen's brain, how social media is rewiring their self-worth, and what you can do to support a healthier balance. Welcome back to Parents and Teens Rising, the place where we have real conversations about raising confident, connected, and resilient young people in today's world. Today's topic is one so many parents are worried about: how TikTok and social media are impacting our teens' mental health and self-esteem, and what we can do about it without falling into power struggles or constant battles. If you're new here, I'm Jasmine Chandler, and I've spent the last 16 years working with teens, young adults, and their families through coaching, teaching, and wilderness rites of passage trips that help young people find purpose and confidence. I help parents shift from anxiety and control to connection and clarity, even when their teens are pushing them away. And I help teens and young adults who are struggling with anxiety, self-esteem, and lack of direction to step into confidence, motivation, and purpose, even when things feel overwhelming or they feel stuck. In this video, I'm going to walk you through why TikTok is so addictive and what's happening inside your teen's brain. 4 powerful ways that social media impacts teens' mental health and identity, including insights from Jonathan Haidt's new book, The Anxious Generation, and then practical strategies for screen time boundaries that actually stick, as well as conversation scripts you can use with your teen that create buy-in instead of resistance. Plus, I'm going to tell you where to get my free screen time plan and contract to use at home. So let's get into it. All right, so let's start by talking about TikTok brain and what's actually going on here. So TikTok and other social media platforms like Instagram are engineered to be addictive. So every time your teen swipes, they're met with a variable reward, meaning the brain doesn't know whether the next video is going to be hilarious, shocking, validating, or sad. And this unpredictability stimulates the dopamine system, which is the brain's pleasure and reward center, especially active in teens, right? Whose impulse control is still developing. And because there's no natural stopping point, they just keep going. On top of that, the algorithm quickly learns what your teen engages with, including content that plays on their insecurities, their appearance, their popularity, or even mental health issues. And what starts as a fun scroll can spiral into an endless loop of comparison, anxiety, and overstimulation. All right, so as a parent, you might say to your teen, I get that TikTok can be fun and even feel like an escape, but I also know it's designed to pull you in, not to make you feel good long term. Can we talk about what it's like for you after being on it for a while? So that kind of curious, non-judgmental question can really open the door to more honest conversations. All right, so next I want to share 4 ways social media has been shown to impact teens' mental health. So number 1, it is social comparison on steroids. According to Jonathan Haidt, one of the most damaging effects of platforms like TikTok and Instagram is the way they amplify social comparison, especially around appearance, popularity, and lifestyle. Teens are seeing hundreds of images a day of people who appear perfect, filtered skin, edited bodies, and curated lives, and this creates unrealistic standards. And for many teens, especially girls, it directly impacts body image and self-worth. Many teens end up feeling like they don't measure up, that they're not attractive, successful, or interesting enough. This erodes confidence and contributes to rising rates of anxiety and depression. So a way to approach this might be, I've been learning about how social media can make people feel like they're constantly not enough, even though it's all just carefully edited. Have you ever felt that way after scrolling? And this will invite some reflection without criticism, right? All right, so number 2, sleep disruption and brain fog is real, right? So Haidt also shares that the rise in screen time, particularly before bed, perfectly matches the decline in teen sleep. When teens bring phones into their bedrooms, they often stay up later than they mean to, reacting to content and notifications that keep their minds wired. And even after putting the phone down, their brain takes longer to settle, leading to poor sleep quality. Lack of sleep doesn't just make teens tired, it affects mood, focus, memory, and emotional regulation, and it becomes a vicious cycle. Poor sleep leads to more screen use to feel better, which leads to even worse sleep. So one way that you can reframe this for your teen is saying something like, let's both try keeping our phones out of the bedroom this week and see how we sleep. I want to experiment too, not just ask you to change. So modeling the boundary builds trust in partnership instead of making them feel like you're just trying to control them. All right, number 3, loss of real life social skills. So another major shift that Jonathan Haidt highlights in his book is the reduction in face-to-face social time. Teens used to spend more time hanging out in person, where they had to read body language, respond to facial expressions, and navigate conflict. Now, much of that interaction has moved online, where responses are delayed, filtered, or anonymous. And as a result, many teens are entering adulthood with less practice in genuine human connection. And this can show up as social anxiety, avoidance, or even difficulty making and keeping friendships. It's not because they're lazy, it's because they're under practiced. So one thing you can try saying to your teenager is, I know texting or DMing feels easier sometimes, but I also want to help you feel confident in real life. What's one way we can support more in-person hangouts with your friends? Framing it as a skill building tool can really shift the conversation. All right, point number 4, dopamine overload and the motivation crash. So finally, the endless novelty of TikTok creates constant dopamine spikes, which over time actually dulls the brain's motivation system. Real life tasks like homework, chores, or even creative projects can feel slow and unrewarding by comparison. This leads to the classic parent complaint, my teen has no motivation, which I talked about in my video last week. But it's not a moral failing, it's neurological. The brain becomes less responsive to slower rewards, making even enjoyable activities feel flat. It's like training your taste buds to only enjoy extreme flavors. Everything else just becomes bland, right? So try this with your teen. Say something like, I've noticed that when you take breaks from scrolling, your energy seems different, more present. What would it be like to build in some phone-free time every day, just to reset your system? Keep it experimental, keep it respectful, and see what happens. All right, so what can you do as a parent? Let's talk about it. So, number 1, create a collaborative screen time plan. The biggest key is involving your teen in the process. So instead of imposing rules, invite them into a conversation about what they think is reasonable. What time limits make sense? What parts of the day should be screen free, like meal times or after 9 p.m.? What apps feel draining or helpful? You could say something like, I want us to come up with a screen time plan together, one that protects your mental health but also feels realistic and respectful. And this will increase their buy-in and help them take ownership of the boundaries. You can also download a screen time plan and contract from my blog post on this same topic, which is going to be linked in the description below. All right. Number 2, model the boundaries you want to see, right? So if we expect our teens to reduce screen time, we need to show that we're willing to do the same. And that might mean not checking emails during dinner or charging your phone outside the bedroom or taking intentional screen breaks yourself. Really try being transparent. Say something like, I've realized I feel better when I'm not glued to my phone. Let's both experiment with some time off our screens and see how it impacts us. And this will make it a shared journey, not a top-down rule. All right, number 3, anchor boundaries to their own goals. So instead of focusing on too much screen time, connect boundaries to their goals like more confidence, better sleep, improved grades, stronger friendships. Let the motivation come from within. You could say something like, you've told me you want to feel less stressed and more focused. I wonder if a part of that is tied to your screen time. Do you want to explore this together? All right. And number 4, create screen-free zones of connection. So start small. Designate family dinners as no phone zones. Plan a hike, art night, or movie where everyone unplugs. The goal isn't to restrict, but to replace, to give teens opportunities to feel good without a screen. Let's make Sunday morning a phone-free adventure day, just us, doing something fun or relaxing together. All right. So in conclusion, today we explored the TikTok brain, how apps like TikTok are impacting teen mental health and self-esteem through social comparison, sleep disruption, reduced real-world connection, and dopamine overload. We also talked through actionable steps you can take, from collaborative planning to modeling, anchoring to their goals, and creating screen-free connection time. Remember, this isn't about fear or control. It's about wisely guiding our teens through a digital world they weren't meant to navigate alone. So if this video is helpful, please like and subscribe and share it with another parent navigating this terrain. It helps this message reach more families. And don't forget to grab your free screen time planning contract in the description below. It's a great tool to use for your next conversation with your teen. Thank you so much for being here. You're doing brave, important work. I'll see you next time on Parents and Teens Rising.